Okay, we're ready for part 2 of foundation paper piecing. And part 2 has to deal with getting the fabric ready, preparing your fabric. When you're doing foundation paper piecing, you are using pieces, fabric pieces that are oversized. And then you're going to cut them after you get them the right size. So I usually, if I am making, a star, for example, and I'm going to use the paper pieces, I will measure on the pattern how big the piece is I'm going to need for a section and add a 1/2 inch on each side, and then make sure that the fabric that I cut out, I will cut it out that size so that it's a 1/2 inch bigger on all sides. For these paper piece leaves that I do so often, I have to make many different fabric pieces. So it's easier for me to just cut a strip of fabric, and then I make some freezer paper pieces that are big enough. Here is one of mine, and you can use them a lot. You can see there's still threads on the back. I take my fabric and I layer up several pieces of fabric, and then I just lightly press this down onto the top. Let me show you one that I have ready. Okay, you can see now, here are my freezer paper pieces. I have several. I have cut my fabric into strips, and you'll have to check your pattern for how the size of these strips. But because each pattern, it may be different. And then I layer up several pieces of greens, because for my leaves I need half dark and half light. And I've just taken some scraps that I had, pressed them, and then with an iron, a dry iron, you can press the freezer paper pieces on top. And then take them over to your cutting board, and these are not going to be the final perfect cut, so I don't care how close I get. I'm just going to be cutting them. Well, and apparently my blade's getting dull. I don't even need to worry about these edges here. If they're a little too big, that's okay. I can take this off. I have got, looks like four greens here that I can be using. This guy's going to be too little, so I'm going to not use him. But then I can just put this down, and sometimes I don't even worry about pressing it. I just take my ruler, stick it over the top, and cut. So if you need multiple pieces of fabrics to do your foundation paper piecing, this is an easy way to get several of them. And then you're ready for the next step. So this is how I prepare my fabric. And again, if you're doing just one piece, you don't need to go to the trouble to stack lots of fabric or anything. You just take your whatever's in the pattern, and you add a 1/2 inch on each side, make a freezer paper piece, and lay it on your fabric and cut it out. I wanted to show you a picture of a finished flower hug so that you could see why I do multiple copies of the leaf pieces. The leaves on the flower hugs need to have, I think, 9 darks pieces, and it looks like 8 lighter green pieces. So it's easier for me to just cut them bunch of dark greens and a bunch of light greens, and then I have plenty to choose from.